All right, welcome back to the Integrative Therapist. This is a podcast where your nervous system wisdom meets real, messy, beautiful human life, folks. I'm your host, Julie, a holistic therapist, storyteller, and someone who has absolutely carried way too many metaphorical and literal bags through the aisles of December. And I'm tired. I don't know about you. So, around here, we mix science with soul, humor with healing, and the truth your body has been whispering for years. Sometimes whispering, sometimes shouting, sometimes screaming, but we're here to show up. So take a breath, drop your shoulders. You don't need to earn a place here. There is more than enough room for you at the table. So before we begin, a gentle reminder, these reflections and practices are for education and self-support. They aren't therapy or medical care. Take what lands with you and leave the rest, and reach out for support if you need it in your area. You are never alone in this work. So I want to begin with a little story. Maybe you'll align with this, maybe not, but I figured it kind of suits our topic today. A few weeks ago, I was standing in a store holding way too many holiday bags. You know the moment when you refuse to take a cart because you're convinced you can just grab a couple things in and out, right? That's what you tell yourself, or so you think. 5 minutes in, I'm balancing candles, wrapping paper, some cute mug I absolutely did not need to add to my collection, and a few stocking stuffers that were definitely impulse decisions. I tend to make those quite a bit. My arms were aching, one bag kept slipping, my shoulder was locked, and I was sweating. But instead of stopping to get help, I tightened my grip and I just kept pushing through. And then I watched another woman, maybe in her 70s, not sure, don't want to make assumptions here, stroll by with a cart and gently say, "Honey, why are you carrying all that alone?" She was not being funny. She was being wise. And something about that question landed so deeply in me. For the first time, I felt my entire body exhale. Why was I carrying that all alone? And why do any of us, not just in stores, but in life, during the holidays especially, we hold the expectations, the emotional labor, the pressure to just show up, the worries, the memories, the grief, the guilt, and the perfectionism, and so on, like overloaded bags cutting into our hands. And instead of stopping, we continue to tighten our grip. That moment reminded me, holiday fatigue isn't a failure. It's the body whispering, put something down, get a cart, ask for help. So today in this episode, we're getting a cart. We're putting things down and we're honoring what is heavy for us. And we're letting our nervous system breathe again. So now let's arrive. You know, I love to add these little meditations into our holistic practices. Find a comfy spot. Make sure you're not driving or doing anything where you could get injured. Take a slow breath in through your nose and a long, unhurried exhale through your mouth. Feel the chair holding you. Feel the floor beneath your feet. Perhaps feel your body say, "Okay, I'm here." Take a moment and let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let your breath lengthen even just a little. Notice what you brought into this moment with you. Maybe tension, maybe exhaustion, maybe the pressure to keep up, or maybe the quiet hope that this episode will name something for you you haven't had words for yet. This season stirs so much for all of us in different ways. Joy and gratitude, yes, but also fatigue, overstimulation, emotional weight, family dynamics, expectations, noise, so much noise. Maybe you're torn between wanting to connect and craving solitude for yourself. Between showing up fully and perhaps just wanting to disappear under a weighted blanket. Between baking cookies with love and fantasizing about running away to a cabin deep in the woods, or maybe a tropical island if that's your vibe. It's okay, no judgment. We've all been there. Whatever is here, whatever is showing up for you, it belongs in the space. You don't need to fix it or change it, but you can move slower and still belong in the season. Let that be the anchor we hold today, that you get to arrive gently, even if the season is moving too fast. You always have a choice to set your own pace. So I invite you to take another deep inhale in and a long exhale out, just allowing yourself to show up as you are in this moment. All right, thank you for joining me. Let's begin the podcast. Settle in and let's dive in. So here's a part that no one teaches us. Holiday overwhelm isn't personal, it's physiological. And also, you're not too sensitive. It's December. Everyone's nervous system is held together with a peppermint stick and a prayer, trust me. December asks more of you, more light, more sound, more expectations, more emotions, more plans, more people, and a lot more pressure. So your system isn't breaking. It's processing more input than usual. It's basically running 15 tabs, 3 apps, and a playlist of holiday expectations on a 5% battery. Science actually has a term for this. It's called allostatic load. It's the wear and tear that builds up when life keeps asking for just a little more before you've even had a chance to recover from the last more. And when there isn't enough recovery time between these demands, your nervous system quietly shifts from "I've got this" to "holy smoke" signal, "I'm barely surviving this." This is when you might start to notice irritability or faster tears starting, perhaps brain fog and forgetfulness, guilt-driven yeses when you want to say no, scrolling just to numb and disassociate from everything going on around you, and even disconnection from those people that we love. This is biology saying I am just carrying too much. It's not a character flaw by any means. Your window of tolerance shrinks when rest is scarce. Longer exhales, warmth, softness, and safe connection can often help widen that window of tolerance and give us a little more space to manage more. So if your system is already carrying so much, what happens next? Well, this is often when fatigue shows up for us, not as a means of failure that we can't manage everything, but as information. So I want to start with something honest here, a truth that took me years to learn, and one that I wish someone had told me sooner. Fatigue is not your enemy, it's your messenger. We've been conditioned to treat tiredness like a moral flaw, like it means you're weak, unmotivated, falling behind, or failing at adulthood. But the truth is so much kinder than that. Let me share a moment that changed the way I understood fatigue. A little while back, after a week of juggling clients, family needs, deadlines, and more emotional labor than one person should realistically hold at a time, I sat down at my desk determined to catch up. I opened up an email and I just stared. And I stared, and I blankly stared some more, until the words stopped looking like words. Then my body did what it often does before my mind catches on. It shut down my ability to push through this time. My shoulders dropped, my jaw unclenched, and everything in me whispered, "Enough, you're done." And for the first time in a long time, I didn't override it. I actually listened. Because here's the truth. Fatigue isn't laziness. It isn't weakness. It certainly isn't proof you're not capable. Fatigue is your body saying, hey, I'm at capacity here. I need less stimulation. I need more quiet. I need softer edges. And I need a break from performing strength I no longer have. This isn't a character issue. This is a capacity issue. Your nervous system always tells the truth, even when your mind is scrambling like a PR team trying to spin exhaustion into a totally manageable concept. But your body does not bargain. It only tells the truth. Pure physiological truth. Because fatigue isn't failure, it's information. Think of it this way: when your phone hits 5% and the screen dims, you don't call the phone weak, you simply plug it in. But when you hit 5%, some of us have that narrative that we're lazy, we're unproductive, we're not enough. Let's just stop doing that. Your body is not betraying you, it's sending you messages, it's trying to protect you. In a lot of my nervous system work, I discovered quite a bit of information that was very helpful, and I want to share that with you now. Stress doesn't leave your body just because the moment is over. It leaves when your body knows the moment is over. And during the holidays, our bodies barely get that memo. Think about it this way: you move from one plan, one conversation, one stimulation, one expectation, straight into the next. No pauses, no transitions, no exhalations. It's like opening 20 tabs on your laptop and then wondering why it's overheating. So let's talk about how to actually close this loop with 3 forms of restoration that your body understands instantly. The first is physical release. There's a moment, and maybe you felt it, when your body knows something is over, long before your mind catches on. It's like when you finish a tough conversation and suddenly your hands shake, or you leave a crowded store only to then notice your jaw has been clenching for over an hour. Or maybe you sit in your car after a social event and your whole body softens and exhales like it's been holding its breath the entire time. Your body isn't malfunctioning, it's trying to finish what it started. Your body doesn't speak in English, it speaks in movement. So to close a stress cycle physically, you don't need just a pep talk, you need to actually move that tension out. Stress enters through the body, so it only makes sense that it also has to leave through the body. So you might want to try shaking your hands, rolling your shoulders back and forward a few times, perhaps elongating your spine, taking a nice long full stretch, even turning on your favorite song and dancing to that song, full permission. Another wonderful way is to just get outside and take a walk for 10 minutes or a run. Whatever your body is feeling it needs to release, give it the space to do that. Movement tells your body the moment has passed and you're safe again. So the second one is social safety, co-regulation. So think back to the last time someone met your eyes with a real, genuine warmth, and you felt so connected in that moment. That type of connection that tells you, I see you, I'm here for you, and you're not alone in this moment. Or a moment maybe a friend made you laugh and you felt your whole body unclench before you even noticed you were holding any tension. This wasn't just a moment. This was your biology shifting gears. Humans regulate through humans. It's how our wiring works. Because we are wired for connection, and your nervous system settles faster in the presence of someone that you feel safe with. This is ancient healing, like pre-Google, pre-therapy, pre-everything. So here are some suggestions on how to summon that social safety. Call or text a friend who feels safe, not draining. Maybe pull up a picture that holds a meaningful memory where your nervous system responds to remembered safety, because that works too. Snuggle up with your fur baby. Co-regulation is cross-species, or even grab your favorite plushie if you don't have a pet handy. Listen to a comforting voice. Maybe that's a friend, a podcast, a mentor, whatever that looks like for you. Replay a moment in your mind where someone said, hey, I've got you, and notice how your body responds. Because your system settles when safety enters a room, even if it's through a memory, a voice, or an actual presence. Let people and pets be your medicine. And the third one is sensory soothing. Have you ever walked into a room and your whole body instantly went, ooh, no, absolutely not, wrong vibe, and everything in you wanted to turn around and run? Or have you wrapped yourself in a blanket and felt your system sigh before you even recognize it? Maybe you were feeling overwhelmed, or maybe you turned off a bright light, and you felt your chest instantly soften, like your nervous system whispered, "Thank you, finally." Your senses are like dashboard lights of your nervous system. They tell you the truth fast and hard, without overthinking, without over explaining, and without a committee meeting. And the holiday environments, they hit every sensory button all at once. It's like pushing every button on an elevator. It's stop and go, stop and go. And that becomes absolutely depleting. The lights, the noise, the smells, the crowds, the chaos, the cinnamon scented overstimulation of it all. When the senses get overloaded, your system slips into survival mode without your permission. But when you soothe the senses, your body then receives a very different message saying, "We are safe, we can settle now." So, some tangible tools that allow this sensory resetting. This could look like maybe dimming the lights, or lighting a gentle candle, or using soft ambient lighting, wrapping yourself in a warm weighted blanket, using a scent that maybe you genuinely love that brings back good memories, perhaps lavender, vanilla, eucalyptus, playing soft, slow, calming music. Just choose one sensory anchor, something steady, and let your body gently orient around it. Here's a little hack you can add on to any of these tips that I shared with you today, the physical, the social safety, or sensory resetting. Pair them with something that you already do. It's called habit stacking. You might have already heard of this concept. What that could look like for you is perhaps each time that you stand up to take a break, you shake it out a bit. Maybe before you head into a store or a meeting, something you might feel extra nervous about, take one long inhale, exhale. Or every time you reach for your phone or put it down, allow your shoulders to drop, maybe do a couple gentle neck stretches and soften your jaw. These tiny routines become habits and they build in calm for busy systems because your body loves predictability the way your December brain loves those Christmas cookies, deeply and without question. And here's a beautiful thing. Once your system is soothed, your capacity becomes clearer and things automatically become easier to manage. So let's talk about the next part of this podcast, the thing that perhaps many of us wrestle with during the holidays and throughout the year, to be completely honest, and that is boundaries. Yes, we're doing it. Stay close. I'm not here to ruin your holiday. I'm just here to keep you from quietly losing it in the bathroom between events. So, before we talk about boundaries, I want to tell you something that may change the way you look at them. Most of us learn boundaries as a form of punishment, withdrawal, disconnection, silence, even rejection. Because growing up, boundaries weren't often modeled as communication, they were modeled as a consequence. Maybe love got quiet, care pulled away, or that connection disappeared. This would make sense that boundaries feel scary now based on those experiences. Of course, saying no would feel like perhaps you're risking a relationship, or maybe your stomach twists before sending that text. But here's the actual truth. Boundaries aren't walls, they're capacity in words. Here's a little story. A few years back, I showed up at a holiday gathering, fully committed to being my best self. You know that one, the highlight reel self, the version of me with endless patience, perfectly regulated nerves, and zero sensory limits. A fantasy, truly. The one who always says yes no matter what. The one who stays late even when she's mentally horizontal. And the one who pretends music is not too loud, the smells aren't too much, and the emotional labor isn't eating her alive. 30 minutes in, my nervous system whispered, "Hey, we're full. Let's cut it." 45 minutes in, it whispered louder, "Okay, we're overflowing." And an hour in, my body basically screamed, "We are shutting down the system. Good luck out there." Meanwhile, my mind started spiraling, like that tiny people pleaser gremlin whispering, "You can't leave yet. Everyone will notice. Just keep smiling. Be nice. Don't ruin everyone's vibe." And then a friend leaned into me and said, "Hey, you know what you need? You need an intermission." Not a dramatic exit, not a disappearing act, an intermission. And honestly, my whole body went, oh, somebody finally said it, because she named a truth I wasn't able to recognize in that moment for myself, that boundaries are not disconnection. They're restorative pauses for your nervous system, and it's meant to take these pauses. A boundary is your inner truth stepping forward and stating, your feelings matter, and so does my limit. I want to be fully present, and I can't do that unless I honor my boundaries first. And I'm available, but only in ways that honor both of us. Boundaries don't end relationships. Sacrifice does. Pretending does. Self abandonment does. And boundaries are not something you use against people. They're something you use to stay connected to yourself. Boundaries keep relationships honest, starting with the one you have with yourself. You can certainly love people deeply and still need space fiercely. Both can be true at the same time, and both can coexist. Think of boundaries like a dimmer switch, not an on and off button. They're just helping you readjust the light so that you don't burn out. Because the truth is, most of us didn't grow up with models for healthy, gentle boundaries like we spoke about earlier. So when we finally want to honor our limits, we often freeze and we shut down. Not because we don't have boundaries, but because we don't always have the words for them. And that's absolutely normal. Boundaries aren't scripts, they're truths expressed in a way that feels authentic to you. And that looks differently for everyone. So think of the next examples as gentle starting points, phrases you can adapt, soften, personalize, or completely reword based on your personality and your vibe or how you're feeling that day. Imagine someone invites you to a holiday party. You want to show up, but you can already feel your energy level and social battery at a very low limit. So here's where a boundary could sound like. When it comes to time, hey, you know what? Thanks for the invite. I'll come, but I can only stay for an hour. You're naming your capacity without over explaining it. And when it comes to your energy, that could look like, you know what? I'm just not 100% today. So I want to be mindful of my energy, but I'll come and just see how that goes. So you're honoring your body instead of forcing performance. Recovery could look like, hey, you know what? Thanks for the invite. Right now, I just need to take some downtime before we get together again. This way, you're choosing restoration over burnout, which really truthfully protects a relationship. Because if you were to force yourself to go in that moment, knowing that you're completely depleted, that connection might not look the way you want it to. And a sensory boundary could look like, hey, you know what? Can we keep that music a little bit lower so I can be here for our conversation? You're not criticizing, you're simply creating conditions where you can actually enjoy yourself. This actually just happened to me over the weekend. I was at a holiday event and the music and the conversations were so loud. I felt like I was basically auditioning to be a nightclub DJ, and I was nodding along to someone that was talking to me, except truthfully, I couldn't hear a word they were saying. So I was laughing when they laughed, smiled when they smiled, praying to the God above that they weren't telling me something serious in that moment. Sensory overload isn't about being picky. It's about your nervous system saying, I want to connect with you, but I need the environment to meet me halfway. No justification, no essay needed, no defending your humanity, no performing strength you don't have. Just a kind no or not this time is simply enough. Your body knows the truth long before your mind tries to negotiate it away. So before you answer anything this season, I invite you to pause for 5 seconds. Your body will always tell you first. A true yes will feel like your body exhaling. You'll feel warmer, more available, more you. You'll feel open and expansive. That's your system saying, hey, move towards this. Whereas a true no will feel like your body contracting and putting on the emergency brake. Perhaps you'll feel a lump in your throat, a knot in your gut, a sudden heaviness. This is your boundary yelling and telling you this may be a hard no. So take time, pause, and listen before you respond and before you react. So before we wrap up today, I want to invite you to settle into this moment. And notice that if you've been stretching yourself thin, if your patience has felt flimsy, if your nervous system has been whispering, I'm tired, I'm trying, and I'm done, I want you to hear this. You are not the problem. Your body is not malfunctioning. You're not failing at anything. You are simply responding exactly as a human responds when they've been asked to carry too much for too long. So let's practice something together, just for a few breaths. Take a nice deep inhale and say to yourself, I am allowed to slow down. And on your exhale, say to yourself, I don't have to match the pace of the season. And another inhale, saying to yourself, my body is giving me information. And upon your exhale, and I am willing to finally listen. Let that land. There is nothing wrong with needing rest. There is nothing wrong with needing quieter spaces. And there is certainly nothing wrong with having limits, especially during a season that forgets humans have limits at all. Your nervous system isn't asking you to be stronger. It's just asking you to be gentler with yourself. So as you move into the next few days, carry this with you. Presence over performance, capacity over expectations, truth over pressure, and self-connection over perfection. You're doing the holidays differently this year, not by trying harder, but by honoring yourself better. And I'm so glad you're here. And also remember, holiday survival mode feels like running a marathon in flip-flops. Technically possible, but why would we? Honestly. Our next episode is going to be a different kind of conversation, a quieter one, a deeper one that so many people need this time of year, even if they never say it out loud. And I want to name something gentle here. I know what it's like to carry grief into a holiday season. My mom passed away in 2015, and Christmas was never the same after that, and probably never will be. The season that once felt warm, bright, and exciting suddenly became sharper, heavier, and almost too loud to bear. I remember so many times just wanting to skip the whole thing because celebrating felt like it would pull me closer to her absence and the weight of the grief altogether. And that heaviness, it stays quietly tucked inside, even when we're laughing at the table or wrapping gifts like everything's okay. So when I say our next episode is for the ones who move through December with an ache in their heart, I do mean that. This will be the part of the season we don't talk about because not every holiday story is wrapped in cheer. So if anyone is out there that maybe smiles on the outside while something hurts on the inside, for anyone who wonders, is this just me? And I truly promise you, it is not just you. We're going to talk about the unspoken side of December, the part we don't often see in Christmas cards or commercials, the one that shows grief resurfacing without warning, missing someone who isn't here, the ache of unmet expectations, the loneliness that exists even in crowded rooms, and the quiet heaviness that makes you feel out of sync with the world around you, because it's not just you. We'll also talk about the weight of shoulds that we often carry. I should be happy. I should show up. I should be over this by now. And why grief doesn't follow a calendar or a timeline or anyone's expectations for that matter. We'll move gently into micro practices for grief season, small rituals that help you stay connected to yourself and the ones you love. Perhaps like lighting a candle for someone you miss, setting a grief boundary, creating a softness plan, or just pacing yourself emotionally instead of pushing through. And I'll also guide you through a short visualization, a moment beside a winter fire where grief gets a place at the table, without needing to be fixed, rushed, or silenced. So as we wrap up today, I invite you to take one more closing breath with me, in through the nose, and a long, unhurried exhale out through the mouth. Okay, now let me leave you with this, the part I really want to land as we leave. You were never meant to carry December by yourself. Not the expectations, not the emotional labor, not the invisible weight of keeping everyone else okay. and certainly not the pressure to be the steady one, the fun one, or the strong one. Remember, your body isn't malfunctioning, it's communicating. Every sigh, every flare of irritation, every "why am I crying right now" in the grocery store moment, this is not weakness. This is your nervous system tapping you on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, slow down, softer, please." And you are allowed to honor that request. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to step back, and you are allowed to say no without a dissertation explaining why. So as you move through the week and this holiday season, choose one tiny thing, just one, that reminds your system it's safe to settle. A quiet moment, a boundary set gently but firmly, a long exhale, a pause before reacting, and a return to yourself instead of the performance of being okay. It's okay if overwhelm visits again, because it will. We're human. But remember, it's not regression, it's not you failing, it's simply your body trying to protect you in a season that gets very loud, very quick. Thank you for being here today with me. Thank you for your tenderness, your courage, your willingness to show up as you are, not as you think you should be. And I'll see you in our next season, a deeper, quieter, but necessary one. Until next time, let your truth be louder than your guilt and honor every pause your body asks for. Take care, everyone. See you soon.